Hi everyone, thank you so much for being here. I hope everyone's energized after your coffee break. Thank you for that introduction. Let's get the blood flowing a little bit. I know you guys, everyone's just standing up, but show of hands, when you are planning your buys or planning your media, how many of you are talking about budgets by channel, talking about your CTV budget, talking about your linear TV budget? Show of hands. Good bit of you, okay. So do we, but today's session is really about when you put those channel budgets to the side and start talking about what does that really mean from an audience perspective. I am Haley Wiaz, for those of you who do not know me or have not met yet. I am the head of media innovation at Scale Marketing. I have been on the agency side my whole career. I started out at Starcom, where I really gained my foundation in the programmatic landscape, working on major retail brands such as Lowe's. When I was ready for a new challenge, I moved over to the independent side. I have been with Scale for nearly 5 years now, coming up in November, where I've really helped shape our digital practice, our tech relationships, and really our buying philosophy. And my role as head of media innovation is, solving messy problems, testing new ideas, and helping clients push new tech and strategies forward, and really thinking, we're 12 months out from now where we need to be. This session, again, is really about what happens when we stop building plans around channels and start building them around people, and even in a complex B2B space like food technology. Really quickly, who is Scale Marketing? Why am I up here today? We are a boutique, full-service performance agency based in Chicago. We like to say that we were doing performance marketing before it was cool, tying media directly to those business outcomes. Brands often come to us when their growth has stalled and we need to find new ways to unlock it. Our leadership team comes from diverse business backgrounds outside of traditional agencies, so we've really always thought about how to build, build balanced sales overnight with brand over time, and that's exactly how our partnership with ezCater began 8 years ago. They had a world-class search and data science team in-house, but they were looking for new ways to grow, and what started as a one-market radio test quickly grew to 4, then national, and eventually led to our full agency partnership of what it is today. It's really important to understand who ezCater is as a business before we dive into this case study. And so with that, ezCater is the #1 food tech platform for workplaces, if you are not familiar. They help companies of all sizes order from more than 100,000 restaurants across the country. They have, like I mentioned, they have been a long-standing partner of ours. I have personally worked on their brand my entire time at Scale, and we've really helped evolve their media approach as both their business and the industry have gotten more complex. We have worked with them through many phases of their business as they continue to scale, and challenges like the pandemic. People were not coming into office. People were not thinking about ordering food for their employees. And we worked and saw that through for them and have brought them really out of that. And like Scale, ezCater is rooted in measurement. Every decision is backed by data, attribution, and testing, which is what we're talking about today.
There's a mission
nationwide logistics provider. Okay, thank you. Connected TV and high-impact channels are not new to ezCater, but the way we have wired and measured campaigns over the years has certainly evolved. Our in-platform tools showed us positive signals of success regarding connected TV that MTA and MM models simply were not. One of those signals, for instance, in our DSP reporting, we have a path to conversion report, and that was showing us that when CTV was on the path, the time to convert drastically decreased. So we knew it was impactful, we knew it was helping move people down the funnel quicker, but how much of it we needed for this audience was unclear still. But instead of chasing our tails architecting sequential messaging or re-engagement audiences, we put the trust in the algorithms and let the platform go to work to find the best way to reach this audience. Sorry, technical difficulties. There we go. Now let's talk about a few of those challenges. Being in the B2B space, ezCater's audience is niche, it's high value. We're actively trying to reach professionals who are responsible for ordering catering either for their workplaces or like a lot of the people sitting in this room, ordering for lunch and learns for external purposes. High intent is required, but honing in on the right intent signals in the B2B space is super challenging. If you think about your intent signals, people are ordering for personal use, things like that. We don't want those intent signals. We want people who are actively ordering for workplace-only needs. And so that is why this strategy is centered around first-party data. These buyers have high intent, they need a solution, but that doesn't always mean awareness. Many don't know that ezCater exists or that a technology platform like it exists for their complex catering needs. Second set of challenges was rooted in the fact that similar to A handful of you who raised your hands, historically our campaigns were planned by channel. CTV in one bucket, display in another, an audio campaign on its own, and this created a lot of issues for us. The first issue is that we couldn't see or control frequency at the audience level. We started to make assumptions about what role each channel played. Connected TV, it's high touch, it's the big screen on the TV. A lot of times we think that it's only upper funnel, it's mass reach. But how people are influenced by CTV varies. Some people, use ad breaks to get up and go into the other room. Some people hop on their phone and scroll simultaneously. We are all, guilty of that. And some people actually sit, and watch the ads, which we would definitely need more of. And attribution models continue to overvalue our click-heavy channels like display, like online video, and undervalued our high-impact channels like connected TV, like our premium audio. And last, because of that, spend was being underutilized by assigning that value up front. Maybe some of those dollars that were being spent in online video would have been better served in audio or vice versa. So we had a few realizations. We know the traditional funnel as marketers no longer really exists. So why define a channel's role up front and try to chase an ideal channel mix, trying to guess of how much of each channel we needed, when the truth is that equation is different for every single user. And what actually matters is moving each person to the point of conversion as quickly and efficiently as possible while controlling our cost overall. Not the sequence of touch points, not the fractional credit of each channel, but the outcome itself. Or said differently, seeing the forest through the trees, focusing less on each channel's role in isolation and more on the outcome that actually drives growth. So we flipped our model. We made the audience, not the channel, our North Star. Our philosophy is super simple. Intent and awareness work hand in hand. High intent, though, does not always guarantee that someone knows your brand, and without awareness, that intent is going to stall. And a fast-moving B2B space like ezCater's, that could be the difference between winning and losing a customer for life. And this core understanding is really what gave us and the client the confidence to shift away from the channel-first approach, which lumped this first-party audience that we're talking about today into channel-based campaigns, so your connected TV campaign, your display campaign, with other targeting tactics and often with different budgets and goals. It was certainly efficient in pockets. We saw success with this audience in each of those campaigns, but we knew that it was definitely fragmented overall. So instead of building those siloed campaigns by channel, we started building around the audience itself. That gave us the flexibility to add in high-impact channels to this super high-intent audience and let the real-time performance guide how we continue to invest across the different channels in the landscape. So our hypothesis at hand was, what if we put first-party data at the center and then coordinate all those channels around the data, changing how we fund, manage frequency, measure, and put our channel biases to the side. So if we put the audience first, we could manage frequency across the full audience, not just in silos, expand reach and conversions by having one view of the customer, and let predictive behavior guide budget allocation instead of fixed channel splits, and ultimately improve our CAC by moving people down the funnel faster. But of course, the best strategies will fall flat without the right measurement in place, and here's where the approach really shifted for us. In the past, we'd look at the results still by channel, CTV performance, display performance, and try to piece together how each tactic contributed to the overall puzzle. But the reality is that there is no perfect ratio of connected TV, of display, of online video. That balance is going to look different for every single user. And what matters is how efficiently and effectively we can move each individual through the funnel and how we can control our costs across the system as a whole. So we stopped chasing the fractional value of each channel and started measuring at the audience level. Instead of asking what the right amount of CTV is, we started asking, did this audience convert faster? Did our CAC improve year over year or whatever time period we're looking at? And are we just spending smarter across the board? And it worked. We used a combination of in-platform metrics, business results in both our client and scale internal MTA and MM models to really triangulate performance across this strategy, weighting results, still with the historical knowledge of how these different tools and reports respond to media, taking that into account and leaning into more granular cuts of that audience performance versus just, the top line channel level. And we know, yes, connected TV is going to be more impactful than a display banner, but that does not mean that it needs a fixed budget. And we really stopped assigning that value up front and let the data prove out where the dollars belonged. And our results were hard to ignore. Our household reach more than doubled year over year, and our CAC efficiency improved 58%. These were not just more impressions, they were a signal of reaching more incremental customers, seeing and acting on our messaging. And what made this even more exciting is that we were able to invest in those high impact channels with confidence, not guessing the perfect media mix, but trusting the data to find the fastest route to each individual user, meeting them where they are in their journey. A few lessons and learnings and how we continue to go forward with this strategy. One of our biggest takeaways from all of this is that audience habits continue to shift fast and vary at the user level, and so our strategies have to be just as flexible. Giving up rigid channel-level budgets was certainly uncomfortable but necessary. We uncovered inefficiencies we didn't even know existed, but proved that omnichannel, it's not just a buzzword, it's a smarter way to plan. The best performing mix 1 month, it may not hold to the next. Audience behaviors change by user, by season, even by time of day. And the thread through all of this, though, is really we have to meet the customer where they are, not where your channel plan says that they should be. And so what's next? Today, this framework is fueling other prospecting campaigns for ezCater and other scale clients, but we're continuing to ask, what does true auto-optimization look like when platforms, data points, and measurement tools are all connected and we can really optimize in real time? How do we keep stress testing the channel mix without over-engineering? Our in-house traders and data teams are constantly tweaking media mixes, sitting in office hand-in-hand working, adding that human element to the algorithms. I know we're talking a lot about AI today and how that can evolve the planning process, but you still have to have that human element. At scale, we truly believe in the symphony of media and believe all dollars should be agnostic, and this approach really doubles down on those beliefs, and we've been expanding this way of buying to our other clients. And then last, really just truly putting the strategies in the mindset of the consumer and how they consume media and make decisions, not just your tactics on a media plan. So to wrap it up, a few last key takeaways. Omnichannel isn't just about showing up on multiple channels. It's great that you can expand your budget outward, but it's really about aligning around first-party data or a really strong data set that you might have access to, managing frequency holistically, and allowing those budgets to flex based on performance. To make that work, though, attribution has to evolve. Without it, we risk undervaluing the role of awareness in high-impact channels that drive that long-term growth. At scale and ezCater, breaking down those channel silos, trusting first-party signals led to stronger conversions, smarter investment, and a clearer picture to how audiences actually move throughout their journey. And if there's one thing I hope that you leave with today from this session is be open to testing new approaches and don't be afraid to think how you've always done things. And with that, just want to say thank you.
Haley, thank you so much. Fun fact about Haley, she did that presentation for us 2 weeks ago at our Data and Programmatic Summit. I liked it so much, we invited her back for doing this one. So, questions for Haley?
Hello, I'm Michael from Medtronic. I don't like the alliteration of that. When you were starting out and trying to break up the approach, how difficult was it to get various partners to not think by that channel-specific approach? Because I can imagine and know from experience that understanding something by display, understanding by paid search, by Facebook, that's very, very simple than trying to think of it holistically as how quickly we are moving an audience to a result, especially when the data availability for seeing clicks, impressions, things like that is so much easier for the channels than it is by audience results.
It's a good question. It's a challenging one. And I say we have had varying response to it. And the feedback that we were met with definitely varies by our client. For this client in particular, I think what gave them the confidence is that we were running this first-party audience across multiple channels already, and we were able to report out, and we're still able to report out at the channel level of what is display doing, but it's not giving you the full picture, and I think that was really where it shifted for us is well, what if we can actually talk about it from an audience perspective and see, holistically, what is that audience doing for you? How much of that audience are we continuing to reach? What is the true frequency? Because we know we're reaching them not just in, our DSP across these 4 or 5 channels, we're reaching them across, search and social and all that. If we can, try to chip away at that larger puzzle of what the true frequency is, I think that's what gave them the confidence to do it. And, we structured originally a 3-month test with this, and the results were like astounding, like from the get-go. And so I think that's what kind of gave us the confidence to keep going forward with it. Other clients, for sure, it's been more of a challenge, especially a lot of our clients that were built up on traditional mediums too. Like they are a little bit, I would say, more apprehensive to like really lean in. But I think it's just all about how you coach them and educate them on like why this is important. And it's not going to still give you like the full picture. And that's something that we're working on is what other measurement can we add to help solve that, to really understand what our true reach frequency is at the individual audience. But we have to first start talking about a simplistic audience across the board, so we can translate, what is that audience on linear versus what is it on a display ad, and so on.
Oh.
Hi, Taylor Sutherland from 22 Squared. Couple questions. One, to kind of build on that original question. I'm fully behind the whole idea of like audience-led planning and not looking at it from a channel silo. What would you say, whether in this case study or with other clients, have been your ways to break through with clients when they are maybe historically stuck on their end from being very channel-led? Or if there are other variables that perhaps dictate certain channel spend. Let's say they care a lot about market level investment and the way that you would think about an audience and the way you would approach an audience. In digital, you obviously wouldn't want to, silo yourself into a very small area when there's more regional opportunity and scale and performance there. So how have you navigated that with your clients? Just curious, because it's a challenge for us.
Yeah, no, it's a challenge for us too. And we have a wide variety of clients. We have national clients like ezCater, but we also have a lot of local clients too who are, single market or multi-market clients. And, a lot of times that they are one of the larger advertisers in that market too. So they already have a lot of saturation. But it's also about how you can unlock new audiences for them too. But to go back to your first question, I would say I try to put it in the mindset of the consumer and talk to our clients like, well, how do you, like when you are actually consuming, media and things like that, like put it in their perspective. I feel like a lot of times clients really just want to like understand it like from like, their own lens of like how they consume media and things like that. And you're not distincting through like if you're seeing a display ad or a meta ad or something like that, like you don't really make those connections like on a day-to-day basis as a consumer all the time unless you're in our industry, I feel like. But I would say that's how I've like broken through with some clients of like, let us find the right audience for you and try to back it up with data. And if it is structuring, a 6-week, 8-week test to prove it out to them, I'd say like anything that we can do with measurement to back it up has always kind of given them the confidence to continue to move forward. And I think earlier talking about like almost like the 10% increments of like how can we just get like 5% better, 10% better, and try to understand that audience. So I'd say that's one way to try to chip away like client apprehensiveness. And then from the market standpoint, I would say a lot of times for some of our local clients, they're oversaturated in the linear space and on like the traditional radio side. And so how can we unlock new audiences for them in digital and try to build this type of surround sound momentum? Because a lot of times some of like on the digital side, some of these audiences that they're trying to reach, like the younger demos of their audience, is they don't know who their brand is. They haven't been exposed to their, to their ads over the many years, like similar to their, more mature audience. And so it's how do you, if we can't build it with linear, we have to build these different touch points across the ecosystem. And I think that's what gives them the confidence, or at least the trust, to let us try it out. And if we fail, that's also a good outcome that we learned something and we can, start to test a new strategy.
Haley, thank you so much